Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners. Today we're going to tie a floating pheasant tail. The hook I have in the vise is a 200R. This is a size 16. This is 3 extra long, wet, dry, curved shank, straight eye hook from Green Caddis Outfitters, greencaddis.com. I'm going to use 70 denier 8/0, and this is a burnt orange thread. When I'm thinking about pheasant tails, I think a longer body mayfly. They just go so nice to a longer body fly. We're going to start the thread behind the shank. We're going to bring it back to about the point, maybe a little bit further. For our tail, we're going to use the nice reddish brown colors from the pheasant tail. And I'm going to take maybe 4 to 6 of those. And we want our tail to be about the length of the shank there. So be nice outrigger tail. Help it on the surface. Go ahead and put a wrap underneath the tail. For our rib, I have an extra fine copper wire. I'm going to tie that in. Then I'm going to wrap the abdomen all the way up. So that way I can keep a nice level body. These curved shank hooks work really nice, lend themselves really nice to this style of a fly, this floating nymph. We're going to bring the thread back. I'm not going to go all the way to the end yet. I'm going to take some more of the pheasant tail. Just maybe 4 or 5 of them is plenty. Actually going to nip off the very ends. We're going to tie that in. I'm going to bring that back to the tail and then bring it forward. Bring that thread back up to the thorax area. Going to put my hackle pliers on there. And then before I wrap, I'm going to give this a turn, just to help hold them together. You see how they're kind of coming apart? If you put that turn in there, it helps to hold them together. You won't get that split. And every time you wrap, your material is turning also. One turn, one twist for every wrap you make. And in this case, you can see I twisted the wrap out of it. I'm going to go ahead and bring that right up. Now let me give it that final. There we go. I'm going to tie that off right there. You can leave that just for the moment. I'm going to take my copper wire and we're going to counter wrap that, being the opposite direction that you wrapped your pheasant tail. And this is going to secure the pheasant tail from the teeth of the trout. We get up to the top and we're going to go ahead and tie that off. I'm holding the wires tight still because wrapping it, you would, if you left it loose, wrapping the thread would actually unwind your wire. Going to go ahead and trim that off now at this point. Then we'll clean up that head. Now for our wing case, we're going to use CDC. These are brown CDC, and this is what's going to make the nymph float. I have them lined up together Make sure those tips stay lined up. I have a pair of them here. We're going to tie that in. I'm going to put a few wraps on there. Not too tight. And then we can pull them more or less to size. Then I'm going to secure them. I'm going to remove the excess. Get that pretty tight. You don't want a bunch of barbs, a bunch of the barbels blocking around on your eye there. Bring that thread right back to that thorax once again, or to the abdomen. Now when we fold this over, we're going to fold that over and we're going to leave a little bit of an air pocket in there to help the CDC. And we're going to have that little clump in the front, and that clump we're going to stand that straight up or even towards the rear a little bit, and that will look like a wing coming off it or beginning to come out of the shuck. Now I'm going to take some more of the pheasant tail, just 6 or 8 of them. Going to bend them and line them up before I pull them off. And the butt sections should be uneven, which should make the tip sections pretty much even. These are going to be our legs. We're going to leave enough hanging off the front so that when we fold them back, they'll be the length of the thorax, maybe slightly longer than that. That's more or less an eyeball thing. Try to keep them on top when you start them and wrap them. When you get to the front, you'll see that they're starting to split. And that's okay. We're going to bring our thread back, and I'm going to remove the excess pheasant tail. Now, a traditional pheasant tail would use a peacock herl, but I don't want that peacock herl on this, because we want to make this look like this is a nymph at the surface, and it's about to, the adult is about to hatch from it. So I have some mahogany colored Krystal dub here, and I'm going to use that for the thorax. And this particular fly, I'm thinking more for the March brown hatch. You can tie it to match a Hendrickson hatch with just a little bit of different color. We're going to wrap that in. I'm not going to go all the way to the eye with it. Leave a little bit of space there before the eye. Now I'm going to split those legs. Try to get them evenly for each side. And we got that. I'm going to take the other and pull that over. And my big thumb is in the way there. There we go. Kind of have those legs nice outriggers for this fly. We're going to take that CDC, we're going to pull that over, and any small ones you can just trim off. And I'm going to just give it that little bit of a back there in order to make that bubble. We're going to tie that down. I'm going to lift that patch up. Just going to hold that back. And wrap the head. I don't necessarily like it sticking up straight off the front. keeps falling for me. There we go. I kind of wrapped onto it a little bit so it comes right off the top. And that will actually serve a couple purposes. One being the wing that's emerging, and the other, it will give you a little bit more of a indicator so you can see it a little better. I'm going to go ahead and give this a whip finish. Remove that excess. Yeah, and here we have a floating pheasant tail. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Leave comments, questions, suggestions, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.